Hi there, and welcome back to Ades Workshop. Now, some of you will remember a few weeks ago I bought this cheap as chips £10 in a local supermarket, Lidl's I think it was, Power Fix digital caliper. Why not? I just thought it's a tenner, we'll see what it's like. You know, you take your chance, he pays your money. Well, I didn't pay a lot of money, and you can see why. It's absolute pants. Yeah, it's rough as what's it. I haven't even put a battery in it. I wouldn't even dream of using it to measure anything because the jaws don't line up properly and several other problems. Anyway, having said that, I'm going to make its horrible operation a bit smoother, probably by just stoning over the sliding surfaces. I mean, I can... That's the running surface on the top of my fingernail. You can hear it. It's awful. Anyway, I'm going to stone over the corners, flatten it out best I can, and get it working a lot smoothly. And I'm going to cut it to pieces and make a DRO for my tailstock out of it. It's not something I really need. I don't sort of do accurate drilling to depth that often. But I've seen other people have done it before. So I'm going to do something very similar, but I'm going to do it Ades style. Anyway, that said, as most of you will have seen, I moved my vise recently from behind me over here on the back wall to just here by the lathe being right here. And somebody asked a question, can you still use your winding handle now that you put the vise by there, or will it interfere? And you know what, I hadn't even thought about it. I thought, yeah, great place for the vise. The winding handle didn't even enter into my head. So I've come down this morning, winding handle, I can put it in the back of the lathe, and thankfully, yes, I can still use the winding handle. It's you know, I got an inch clearance, but yeah, I can still use the winding handle, so happy days. But what a great question, and it hadn't even entered my mind. So let's get on with making this tailstock DRO. So just put the shortest tool here in the tailstock, and its the one with the shortest arbor, and its ejection point is right there. Okay, I've measured this distance. It's about 9.9. So I need a ring, and I've got an offcut of aluminium that's about 10mm thick. That'll fit bored out. That'll fit neatly over the quill. Now this measures up at 24.9 to 24.95 depending on where you measure it. So I think we're looking at, you know, 24.98 or something like that, bore through this, so that it will slide on there quite snugly in its normal state. So yeah, we're going to get on and turn a ring up out of this offcut of aluminium, which I've always got loads of bits like this lying around in my scrap. Well, not scrap, in my offcuts. So we'll get on and turn something up. Okay, so the usual story. I've just put that slug up in the lathe. And we'll just face that off. Where are we? There we go. Yeah, I'm long clean the lathe, I'm going to have aluminium everywhere again. Never mind. If you're not making a mess, you're not doing any work. The secret is to clean it up after yourself. More. That edge was running out a little bit. I think that's cleaned up now. Ugh, horrible stringy cut. Didn't lock my carriage and it pushed the tool back. Yeah, well, another cut it is. With these small lathes, you get a bit of swarf run down between the cutter and the job, and it can quite easily, as you just saw, push the tool away unless you lock your carriage, hence why the carriage lock is quite an important thing on here. Okay, well, that's quite a nice finish. We'll take that as a starter. So I need to turn the diameter on the outside. Hang on, just to square the tool up a bit. I'll just clean it up for now. I don't think this diameter is going to be critical in any way because I'm going to machine a flat on it at a later date. How close can I get? About there. I think I've just made 10 mil there. Just cut off, give it over 0. Try that again. When is a touch off? Not a touch off. Oh, get very close to the chuck jaws, but I got 11 mil I managed to get. I think that's cleaned up. Yep. Okay, so we'll have a 45 on the top corner there. I always like to put them on as I'm going along, because you never know, you might cut yourself on it, what have you. Not a very big one, just simply to take the sharp edge away for the time being. That'll do. So, what did we end up with? 50.45. That just feels awkward. It just feels awkward. Isn't it funny how things bug you? I can't help myself, I'm going to turn that to 50 mil. Just touch off. I take 0.15 aside. Have another measure. I thought that was a door knocking then, but it was a cat on the roof. 50.08. Just a scratch now. One of those two cats that belongs to my neighbour. Just jumps up on the roof and then onto the fence and then around other people's gardens or whatever. 50.02, now I can live with that. Okay. Still enough of a chamfer on there to make it safe, but again, I think I'll just deepen that off. Do me. So yeah, I've got a whole lot of it already. I'm looking for just under 25 mil, and that's 21. So yeah, I can do the boring bar for that. Okay, so that's the boring bar up. Okay, now just touch off. Give myself a 0. What did I say? It was 21. I can take at least a mil aside out of it before we even start. So there's half mil. I've got about 12 mil deep. Yeah, that should do me. Just roughing it out to start with. Right, that's another side. Just shorten my boring bar up a bit, really, or swap to a larger one. But if I shorten the boring bar up, you'll be able to see even less. So where are we? 23 on the nose. So another 1/2 mil aside. I can't pull this right through. As you can see, I'm on the, well, you can't see when it's revolving, but I'm on the inner step of the jaws. And if I bore right through, the boring bar will hit those jaws. But I'm only interested in the first 10 mil here, and I'm boring through about 12 deep, so no worries. I shouldn't be using my hands on that, but it is aluminium and I have got it switched off and I am away from the chuck. But yes, I know, I shouldn't do it. Okay, where are we? Let's have another measure. Just a touch over 24. So I'll take 0.25 aside. Just going to stop here. I think I may need to turn the tip on this little boring bar. Oh, put a light on the situation. No. Yes, it's just broken the edge, so I'm going to turn that tip and have another go. It was no good. It was whistling and chirping and howling, so I've changed to a larger boring bar and shortened it up a bit. And my hole is now at 24.8 or 0.84. So I'm going to go for another 0.05 aside, and then we'll try the quill in the hole. Okay. This should be somewhere near. Little general spray with WD-40. Just hand feeding this in. There we go. So, just give that a measure. I want to be fairly accurate with this. I don't want it slopping about on the end. That's showing me 24.99. Okay. So, taking my quill out the tailstock. Oh, that's lovely. Okay. Right. Yes. So, I think we need a chamfer on the leading edge of that hole. Should be able to get that something like, yeah, lathe in reverse, fire up. And use the back edge of the boring bar, and we've got a little chamfer on there. Put it back in forwards, make sure we haven't thrown up a burt. Okay, so next step I think is going to be to turn it round, hold it on the OD, and face it all back to 10mm thick. A bit of a waste of aluminium, and I haven't got a means of cutting that in half easily. I can't get in to part it off here because it's too far back in the chuck, and I can't get on the outside jaws because of the diameter's wrong. The jaws are closed down before it grips on the OD, and the outside jaws won't hold it because it's too big. So plan is turn it round and just face it off until it's 10mm thick. So yeah, I'll be quite aggressive with this, as I got about 13mm to come off. I'm taking 2.5mm with each facing cut. You can see the general idea. Here we go. Get that out of the way, we don't want to wrap around. Running about 750 RPM. That's a 2mm cut across the face. Okay. I'll bring you back when we're somewhere near. But just at a quick measure. We're running at 10.35 at the moment. So that should take it to finished size. It's not critical, it's just nice to have a round figure. I decided on 10mm, we'll aim for 10mm-ish. So, chamfer on the inside, chamfer on the outside. Can I get in there with that to put a chamfer on the outside? Because I've got the jaws in my way. A bit more. I think just. Double check. Yeah, no fouling. There's the one on the outside, and I can't really get to the inside easily. Okay, we will use a deburring tool. Okay. So we now have a ring that fits over the quill, 10mm thick, 50 diameter, with some nice chamfers on it. So where are we going to go from here? So I've been messing about with this calipers, taking it to bits. I've just run an oilstone along these sliding mating faces here and taken the sharp edges off the corners, and that's a lot better now. The main body of it, well, you can see it's rough as, rough as, I think we'll call it. I'm going to remove this depth probe. I don't need that. That just looks like it's dropped into a little ground out slot that was chewed in there by some sort of rat. The inside, well, I don't know. And this jaw here looks like it was done on a linishing belt. It certainly wasn't ground properly. So, yeah, you can see it's a load of rubbish, really. I marked out the position of the different screws, which ones went where. And because I've now got it on video, when I remove all this sticky tape and whatever that I had to remove, I'll know where they were, because I can look back at the video. Anyway, yeah, I'm giving it all a clean up. I'm going to get it operating correctly first. And then I've taken away the delicate part, which is the little pickup here, this part of it. That just comes off when you remove the screws. So that allows me to keep that safe and out of the way. And obviously I'll be careful with the magnetic surface on the front of here. And when I chop it up all into bits, we'll see how we get on. So I'm thinking I want to mount it on the side here. I've just got it resting on my chuck. I got the ring on the end, which it's going to fit on. I will have the machiner flat on here. But I want to put it on the side. I could put it on the top, but I think it'll just get in the way of stuff and the hot swap landing on it, blah, blah, blah. I want it to be easily removable. So, yeah, I mean, I could undo the clamp nut on the ring on the end and just slide it off the end, but I want to be able to, the bit that goes on here to be easily removable. So, the other thing is, I've got 57 mil of usable travel. I've worked it out from, where it runs off the thread of the tailstock, and when it's right back, it's about, as we discussed earlier, about 10 mil. And the problem is that when that's back there at 10 mil out, the tail end of this is going to stick right through the handle, as you can see. So it might sound a bit drastic, but the first thing I'm going to do is I've worked it out, right on the 150 mil mark on the end, I'm going to chop it off. I'll get the little die grinder and a little wheel, and we'll chop it off there. So yeah, we've discussed that's going to be bolted on. I may have a sort of flexible bolt in there, maybe like a nylon top hat bush with a screw through the middle, so that it's held on a piece of nylon to give a bit of rotation, as it were. And then for the other part of it, which I put down somewhere, what have you done with that? Bear with me 2 seconds. There it is. I put it somewhere safe. I'm thinking mount it here somewhere. Obviously I'll chop off that leg can go, I'll chop that off there. Mount it here somewhere, again, the height, or I may mount it flat against the body there, and again, maybe drill down through this jaw, or the remnants of this jaw, and put a little swivel top hat there with a screw in it. And then basically to remove it, I can just undo the clamp on the end, remove that screw, and take it away, out of the way, so to speak. Now there is an area here on the tailstock, probably about 10 mil back, about 10 mil down from that surface, where I could put like an M4 screw, something like that in there, and that will allow a little bit of swivel that way. The end obviously will have a bit of rotational swivel allowed in it, and I can rotate, wherever I clamp this up, just to allow a bit of flexibility so that I can sort of tune it into position, without too much hassle. So yeah, I'll be working out what that gap is, how big the flat has to be on the end, so that the rail is, still runs parallel to the groove when this is clamped down. Having a look, hopefully I should be able to drill it. I wouldn't have thought it's that hard, being whatever it is, probably some sort of dinky-doo material of some description. If not, I know I have got a few carbide drills. I'm sure I'll manage it with that. So yeah, that's where I am at the moment. So my next step is going to be to chop this down to length, and probably chop off the finger there, and look at the feasibility. I might come out here somewhere and look at the feasibility of drilling a hole. Okay, we'll get a little grinding wheel up now and tidy up that end. Well, the good news is, it does drill. It's tough, but it does drill. So, we have modified the end of that, drilled a hole, cut the arms off, and cut it to length. I suppose we're going to put a hole there somewhere. I'm going to chop off somewhere around that line on the top of there, and chop that one off somewhere around there. So I'll get on and do that. Going for 10mm deep on this. Tap and drill for M4. There we are. Got it on a couple of parallels. It was a bit tricky, but we got it in there. And at least I know, having done it with the, you know, sat on parallels against that back edge, it's going to be fairly square. I know it is a rough old block like, but it is going to be fairly square to where I want to be.